Today is Monday, January 27th, 2025. I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Allenstown, New Hampshire Board of Selectmen at 5:57 PM. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, and justice. Sorry, Mike, we start doing this. Board members present this evening.
Maureen Hyam. Trish Caruso.
Kathleen Pelletier.
Jim Roger. Scott McDonald, also present in the room this evening.
John Harrington. Chad Pelletier, road agent. Armin Burville. Peter DeSantis. Everything, fire chief.
Laura Everett. Diane Malcolm.
Ryan Malcolm. Mike Preston, ADC.
All right, online with us this evening?
No.
No. Okay, before we start with the citizens' comments, I know the last few meetings, and I think I've probably done this way too much, is when it comes to citizen comments, we're gonna ask folks to sit down at the table and state their name before they speak, because we've got a transcriptionist that's very upset, and that's on me, so tighten up a little bit here. Please remember, if you have something, come up here and sit down, state your name, and we'll go from there. So, that being said, any citizens' comments this evening?
Mike Fractionella. EDC is working diligently on trying to line up music bands for the coming with the summer concert series. And I've also been engaged by the Hooks and Bridge to try to come up with a few stories about Allenstown regarding budgets and warrant articles and taxes and so forth.
Oh, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
Mike was able to attend the auction for the Plug property. I know we sent out a report, just we're reporting, it's on the record. Any information you could provide? I think many of us may know what happened, but.
Yeah, the auction was attended by at least 15, 20 people, only two of whom were actually bidding on the property. Mr. Thibault from Allison Aggregate and a lawyer from a asset management company. And the property went through three separate sets of bids. I'm not sure why. They would take bids if the Mr. McGinn was doing the, stuff. Routine that auctioneers do. His assistant was keeping track of bids. The final bid, Mr. Thibault finally it was unusual. He kept looking back at an associate of his who was on a cell phone. Kept saying, do I go for more? Do I go? The property here in Allison finally went for 2.4 million. When books it went for 3.2 million. So with that, the other thing was the auction was held in the court of the highway garage, in 3A. And that's as far as when I got the name of the lawyer, and I'll try to keep tabs on what may or may not be going on with the property.
I believe the bank bought it.
Yeah, which is very much why the bank would have bought it. They may have just decided to buy it as an investment and then put it up for sale later on. So there's still no, at least it's out of the auction, bankruptcy. This is in the hands of some business that, maybe a developer provided. So at this point, I don't know what's gonna happen with it, but I would hope that whoever buys the property, at least we get involved in, discussing things that we might like to see it do.
Thank you, Mike. Well, thanks for attending that. Any other citizens' comments this evening? We'll start here. Mike Stark has joined the meeting at 6:01 PM.
Hi, my name is Allison Turcott, and I'm the former state rep. Just to make it clear, I'm not state rep right now, I'm a former. This is the House calendar and the Senate calendar, so if you want to follow along things, you just walk right down through the computer and you can check out people's attendance. You can check out how they voted, you can check out what committees they're in. And they come out every week. But there's more than one meeting here for the committees. Right now, you're in the committees, working on the committees, but there isn't much being voted on in the House. And that's about it. I just wanted to bring it all to your attention so you guys can see if you can follow along.
Excellent. Thank you for following through. Though. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. St. Ange?
He's saying.
I apologize.
Peter, he's saying. So, I just wanted to present to the board, myself and some other residents, Kathleen and Laura Lambert and a couple others, have kind of been talking about, there's a lot of, forums going on in town, and a lot of people kind of, have stating their views and comments. So we kind of decided that we needed a volunteer type based group, named Allenstown Citizens Group. We have a Facebook page. I also have a Gmail account at this point. But we're just looking to get a sense of community, have a group of people that may could volunteer for, if we have projects that we want to do in town, or act as a resource to the board, and town departments and community, or community people or events or whatever. I mean, we're kind of new, so we're kind of feeling our way. I'm hoping that we get a few projects. Actually, I do have a couple of projects in mind, and I can mention them now, to see what, to see gauge your interest. One of them was mentioned by Chad a few weeks ago about the rail trail and making the loop connection, which I was out there just before the last snow. And I think it's a great idea. It certainly looks like there's a spur trail that goes around and could easily be done. That's my business. Actually, I have a business doing trail development and trail building across the state. So I do have the expertise of looking at that and coming up with it. So I think with your blessing or whatever, I could look into that a little bit more, try to get a base of volunteers that can help. We'll come up with a proposal, but eventually development, clearing, that type of thing. Another project I was thinking of is, when walking the trail, I noticed that the school, the land behind the school where the fields are is a little disrepair. There's some trees that are down on the fence, and granted, it's in the middle of winter. Some of the dugouts, like they're in disrepair, there's trees growing around them, so. I mean, that'd be another, I think, a good community event to get people down there to clean up the area, improve it. So those are, obviously, we have to wait till spring for those kind of things, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. Maybe we have recreation events, maybe we have whatever, really, we're open. Just, again, with the AES school, you're probably gonna be at a point where you're gonna need some volunteers to help with that, or planning, or whatever. Hopefully, like I said, get a list. And I know there's a bunch of people, Diane's in there, Trish is in there, in the group, right? I think it's like 80-something members, so that's kind of what I'm hoping the group to be, and I think the vision of people that are in and out. So, again, if you guys ever have something you think that our group would be good to do, let us know, and we will, I know, like I said.
Excellent. Great idea.
Thank you.
I guarantee you the head of the EDC sitting immediately to your left is right. Like
Yeah.
crazy here.
Yeah, I mean, there's been some talk, I don't know, I know there's a lot of open positions in town with the rec department and There may be commissions, and maybe we'll feed people into that or take over some of those duties unofficially, I don't know. Again, I guess just with any volunteer organization, you kind of ask and you see who steps up and wants to do it, so.
This is a big deal for this town. And I know, we get really frustrated because no one shows up for anything. Unless they don't like the tax, that's the only time we do it.
Well,
So, just the fact we do it, this is awesome.
well, you know, that's part of my reason for starting, is to get a lot of those people, when we've been talking at the meetings and stuff, that, you know, I'm not saying they always complain, but maybe this is, okay, if you're gonna say something, this is the way we can help. We may not be able to change the tax rate, but, you know, if the fire department needed that room painted again, let's get some volunteers to do it. There's certain ways that we can get more volunteers involved in the community, and save taxes and make a better community for everybody. Again, we're in the early stages. We might have some growing pains until we get our focus on, but that's where we're at.
So let us know, please.
Sure,
You know,
keep it
Have your
informed.
first meeting,
Yep.
so we can have it.
Well, that's part of the problem. We were trying to have a meeting, we couldn't find a place big enough. So, I mean, you know, there's a lot of, so. We had a small, and I don't want to turn into a big group that we have meetings all the time. Well, hopefully a lot of it can be done online, but, I'll keep you informed as we go and. Hopefully, you know, like I said, we have a bunch of people in this room already that are fine. It can help steer. Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Diane Admiral.
Thank you. So these comments, and information pertain to, acquiring AES. Do you want them now, or when you discuss AES now?
Good time. That's
Okay.
the next thing on the
Okay.
agenda.
All right. So reading through this, this RSA here, 41:14, about the town acquiring property. So reading through here, there's a section that says they have to go to, planning board. So when I read this last week, I was like, well, what's the planning board's role? So reached out to Matt last Friday, Matt Monahan. He, talked with Steve Buckley at NHMA, because I wasn't sure, we've never done this before, so I wasn't sure what our role was. So according to Steve, what our role is with the planning board, is basically the planning board would look through the master plan, which I've got the relevant pages here, and make sure that acquiring a building for town hall is in line with the master plan. So search the master plan for town hall. And so, yeah.
I voted definitely to acquire the building, but I don't know that we're sure we're gonna turn it into town. We're buying it, keeping our options, yeah, to study, would we have to go to the planning board before we buy?
With a specific use in mind.
You should read through this RSA.
I did read through it, and it didn't
Yeah,
really
I
indicate that we had to have a specific
Yeah.
use in mind for them.
Well, if you're gonna sell it, I guess not, but, so what I got from, the purpose of seeking the planning board's input on the proposed acquisition of the school district property is to assess how well the use of the building for town purposes would be consistent with the town's master plan and zoning ordinance. Does the master plan contain municipal facilities section? If so, that chapter would be key to providing thorough assessment of whether acquisition would be consistent with the master plan. So this kind of, if we plan to use it for a town hall, you know, and then I went through the master plan, so, and there's only a few pages here, so goal and objective, to strongly encourage the modernization of the delivery of town services, which would maximize their productivity and efficiency. That came from the master plan 2003. It was updated in 2016. It's due to be updated in 26. So under B, so this came from people from the town responsibility board of selectmen, encourage the procurement and development of the latest technologies for the police, fire departments, town hall offices, and highway departments. So back then, the plan was, you know, recognizing that the town hall certainly needed some improvements. The other sections, really particularly where we talk about town hall, is more regarding like how inefficient it is. So for example, the town hall is a very high cost and it's $3.91 per square foot relative to other facilities due to its historic architecture, years of adaptive use, and attendant inefficiencies. It says the town hall would require major renovations in order to significantly improve its energy efficiency. And it really focuses on how, inefficient, this town hall is. So, looking at this, it certainly looks like if the Board of Selectmen did ask the planning board to take a look at acquiring the Allenstown School for town hall, it's certainly in line with what we've said in the master plan. It said the after town hall, so which was the most inefficient building, the next one was highway garage. So we're getting a new highway garage.
You want it, Jen?
The fire station's in good shape. The only thing left is the town hall. So,
So as far as the master plan is concerned, and you think therefore the planning board would say that we'd be good?
yes. And that's our role. I didn't know what the
Yeah.
planning board's role was in this whole process, so. So that is what the planning board's role is, should the town decide to acquire it or use as a town hall.
Well, that's one more important step we didn't know we had to go through, so that's good.
Yeah,
I didn't.
yeah, so the sequence of events would be the Board of Selectmen would request the, planning board, to take a look at this, and basically what we would do is a more detailed review of what I just went.
Okay.
And then we would recommend to the Board of Selectmen, yes, it's in line with what we've said in, the master plan in general, so.
Perfect. Thank you.
That was my homework.
Thank you, Megan.
You're
Ron Adnall.
Ron Adnall. Hello again. I have to thank you in public, because when I found out about the wish wash, about should we buy it, article, warrant articles, I don't know if it was divine intervention or what it was, but I said, I remember at one point in time that there was a warrant article that allowed the selectmen and the board to acquire land, et cetera, property, funds in the town. So, I kind of just called Scott, I said, I think I remember this, let me look into this a little bit more. So John called in the afternoon, it happened to be looking through Mike Raspinalla's website, saw that in 2014, Article 11 was this 41, and it fit. I said, well, let me take a look, John, because I think I have some information that Kathleen did many, many moons ago, which was a directory of all of the town reports going back to 1957, attested copies by the town clerk, and lo and behold, in 2015, Article 22, it was unanimously voted to allow the selectmen to do that. So unfortunately, hindsight being 2020, we really never had to go to a warrant article for that particular situation. So that being said, I gave John that whole directory and that, and I've been upkeeping, and the reason why I got it to begin with is I put in another drop down in there to allow us to keep track of the trust funds. The money going in, when the articles were established, et cetera. So that just everything kind of fell into the right. So I got to thank you for that, because that's just a wealth of knowledge when you want to find certain things, for these types of situations. My second point is being a taxpayer, on the EDC and being kind of a townie here and having the tribal knowledge. I sense a lot of kind of, apprehension of turning this into a town hall. I'm going to turn my financial brain on right now. That you're looking at an investment. We bought the building for $1. This place is going to be obsolete in another 5 years. With the growth in this town, we have people that elbow to elbow here trying to pay taxes, trying to get information, people who come in looking for welfare, no privacy whatsoever. That building right there is an investment. For us to acquire a piece of property, to put up a new building, you're looking at $8 to $10 million. If you look 8 or 9 years down the line. So I think it's something to keep in the back of the mind. It's just like you buy a house, it's a fixer up. You get in there, you put the money in, now it takes a couple of years to do it, a few years to do it. Now, instead of having a $40,000 house, you end up with a $400,000. Just want to keep that in the back of the mind. It also increases the recreational capabilities that Peter was talking about. It opens up a lot of, you know, other types of space for Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, all these organizations to have these meetings as well, giving us a great place for our taxpayers to go, to pay their taxes, do whatever due diligence or business they need to do. Just to keep that, I mean, I keep hearing sales, just remember, back in 2015, you know, they said, they gave the selectmen, yes, okay, do it. When the warrant article went in, it was unanimous, 100 and some odds, whatever, for us to take these facilities. And there's been a lot of squabble on, and there's a lot of talk in town about why it's gonna be a great thing, we're actually gonna have a place to do X, Y, and Z. Just, you know, just keep that in the back of your mind when it comes from, you know, an investment sort of standpoint. Something that doesn't look so good on the outside, it'd be pretty good on the inside, once you put a little effort into it.
Absolutely, and I am
Yeah.
very open-minded to that, but I am just not a person that likes to jump into anything.
Oh, absolutely not.
Without knowing ahead of time exactly any laws that may implicate that, and again, affording the gift of it. I know we're buying it for $1, but the cost to maintain it's gonna go up substantially. I know there's ways we can offset that, but I wanna do that research and make sure that we know we can afford this purchase and that our residents are not gonna get a tax bill the following year and say, oh my God, what happened? And going back to the
I see what you're
residents
saying.
voting for the purchase, there was a lot of unknowns at that time. A lot of information has come out since they voted that they did not know. So when they elected us into these positions, they elected us to make sure we are doing our due diligence. So I'm not against turning it into town hall, and I definitely see the potential there. We need the space. I agree, it'd be awesome to have the gym. It would help so many boards and committees. But I want to make sure going into it, if that's the road we go down, that we're prepared, we know what we're getting into, and we're able to afford it.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, a little bit of pain today can end up with a lot of pain tomorrow, because having to come to the taxpayers and float a bond, say 5 years from now, for, you know, $8-9 million, and they say, well, remember, why, oh, how come we didn't do this back then? But it's just kind of, just things to keep in the back of everybody's mind.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Ron.
Ron. Any further citizens' comments this evening? Mike?
Mike Preston, I think this came to mind, vendor in Concord, and designs and manufactures our hometown hero vendors. Informed me that he had 2 families this winter that decided to sponsor a banner. So come the spring, we will have 15 hometown hero vendors.
That's awesome.
Racing up street.
Run out to us.
Yeah.
All right, last chance. Oh, ma'am, could you state your name?
I'm Jennifer Jenkins.
Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer joined the meeting at 6:15 PM. All right, seeing or hearing no further requests for public comments, we'll go right to our regular agenda. And this has to do with a purchase and sales agreement for the aforementioned schools. I'm gonna ask Mr. Harrington to explain what has transpired over the past couple of weeks, but it really taught me a lesson, and we thought buying the schools is a simple process. Well, it's not, and it was a good learning experience for all of us. But Mr. Harrington has his finger on the pulse here, and he can explain what happened.
Briefly, the agreement that was originally written up by the school board was woefully inadequate. It didn't bring into account the RSA, which Diane also mentioned earlier, that the Board of Selectmen has a very prescribed method of being able to buy or sell or dispose of municipal property, which involves 2 public hearings and then a time period offering the public a chance, if they wish, to petition the board to put a warrant article in for another reason. So if a citizen decided at the last minute that they changed their mind and they did not want the board to buy the buildings, they could petition the board, and then the entire process would come to a halt, and have to wait until the next warrant, which would be 2026. After the vote, depending on whether it passed or not, you could proceed with the purchase. So if the board decides to re-sign the updated purchase and sales agreements this evening, I will schedule 2 separate public hearings with a period in between. And then once those public hearings are finished, there'll be a 7-day waiting period where the board will set a meeting to take a vote to move forward with the purchase. During that week, the public will have a chance to submit a petition warrant article if they choose to. If no petition is received, then the purchase moves forward and the closing can happen very soon after that. If a petition is received, we stop and wait till 2026. So what they have before them tonight are 2 original copies, one for AES and one for ARD with the new prescribed time periods. Other than that, the purchase and sales have remained the same. With ARD, there are 2 hurdles to get over. Because that building is vacant, it must go before the charter school administrator of the state. The charter school administrator has 60 days to wait for any charter school that may be interested in the building. Simultaneously, the clock starts for a 30-day time period for the first right of refusal for the church, which is also in the title and deed. So that clock starts simultaneous with both. Charter schools have 60 days, the church has 30. If we don't hear anything from them, we move forward with the public hearings and the schedule that I pointed out. If one of them wants it, then of course goes down a different road and the town is no longer a party to that. If they both, I was able to get an answer on that. My suspicion it would end up in court. And they have to figure out who would have to get the building.
Can we move forward with AES those?
Yeah,
Okay.
because AES is currently being used, it does not have to go through the charter school.
And then my other question is, if there was a petition brought in, does the person that organizes the petition need to deliver that in person, or can they send it by email?
They have to submit it in person with 50 registered voters who have signed it.
Oh,
And if we do get a petition, I will give it to the supervisor of the checklist to verify that there are 50 registered voters signing it.
I would just make another request if, and I don't think this is legal, but if there was a petition and the petitioner brought it in person, could you encourage them to attend one of the public hearings so that they would understand our reasoning and buying it? That might help, I don't know.
And maybe even speak on their point
Yes,
of view.
yeah. Yeah.
I also have a question. So I didn't see anything in RSA 41 that indicated that we have to wait till the 2026 election period. Would a special election be allowed?
That I don't know. I would have to check that.
A good point.
Yeah, we did have a special one when Brady Sullivan wanted the exemption. Yeah.
Can I have another point of order, Mr. Chairman, run that also again? Seeing those warrant articles have already been put in, and the citizens have already said yes. Would that suffice? I think that's something that,
No.
No,
why not?
those warrant articles were not even necessary. That wasn't the true process that should have been followed.
Well, the process is to ask, the process under this is to ask them if they.
Ron, it's
want-
still our job, hold on, it's still our job to make the financially responsible decision.
But you've
Regardless.
the warrant articles already within there, so you've kind of jumped the gun and did it anyway.
Okay,
So from that standpoint,
okay.
it might be good to get a rule.
I think all of our board members have seen the new sales agreement, purchase and sales agreement. Any questions or issues with the sales agreement?
I would ask my question that I had. Maureen,
Question?
do you have any questions?
Oh, no. Like, I had a question. No. No one will. No, no. I looked up the RSA as well, you know, obviously just to see what we were looking at. Yeah, no, I think it's accurate reflection of what needs to be done.
Trish?
Yeah, I have no further questions. Thanks.
Yes, Kathleen?
I'm good.
Jim?
I'm swimming.
Is it upstream or?
Is it a good swim?
No, I'm, I'm not coming in saying I'm, certain. I have to,
Do you have questions about us?
No.
Okay. You sure? You sort of left me hanging there. If you have.
I'm sorry, I goofed. I'm just saying that, I would be wanting to do that.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Louise has a question if you're entertaining.
We just remember what I said at the beginning of
Yeah.
the meeting, we really, this is the Board of Selectmen who've been elected to conduct the town business, and that's what we're doing. So, I let everyone ask questions last time. Tonight, we gotta get business done.
Yeah.
Can we get signing it? And that's gonna take us a while, and maybe if they have a comment, they can make it while we're signing. Do we need to vote first to sign?
There's only one signature.
Oh, just one. Oh,
So I move that the board allow the chair to sign the purchase and sales agreements for Allenstown Elementary School and Armand Dupont School.
Can we just say the revised ones because we've already signed one set?
I'll withdraw that motion. I move that the board allow the chair to sign the amended purchase and sales agreements for the Armador Dupont School and the Allenstown Elementary School.
Second.
All in favor?
Maureen,
Trisha.
Kathleen,
Yeah.
So. All right, Louise, while I'm signing these, you had a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know when, somebody brings petition to somebody, there's a big petition going out right now of 300 something people. We never even seen who's on there. And I know at the meeting, there were non-registered voters that were answering and stuff, so I just wondered if these people are aware that we are supposed to okay the petition.
Well, the deadline for submitting a petition warrant article expired on the 14th. So if they are looking to submit the petition to be on this year's warrant, it's too late.
Do they know that?
I have no idea.
It is announced, it is announced out to, the procedures of this year's, budget and deliberative sessions was announced to the public. So
Because it's
they
still
would have
going
known
on
if
today.
they had seen it, so.
They knocked it up to it today, that's how come I know.
Okay, this is school board issue as well,
No.
correct?
no, I just had a question. Are you, well, I don't fully understand your question. Are you saying that somehow they need to know that they have to be registered voters to sign it?
Yeah,
What your question is?
and they're not all registered voters, I'm saying, so it's not legal.
I think the
But they
petition you're
show it.
talking about is a totally different type of petition. That's just an opinion, citizens getting together. I could start a petition for anything and go get signatures and send it to Shaw's if I want them to stop.
No,
selling
but-
milk.
I'm saying about John's comment.
Yeah, so the petition for this has strict legal parameters. It's all dictated by RSA because it's a business that the town is undertaking. So we have to follow those RSAs. But other people can start other petitions and they don't have to be registered voters to sign them. And whoever they give the petition to doesn't necessarily have to follow what the petitioners are requesting. In this instance, legally, they must be registered voters and we must follow the petition and put forth a warrant article if that's what we're asked to do by the registered voters. But not every, people can start petitions that do not have those legal parameters.
And
So I think the petition you're talking about
Whoa,
is
whoa, whoa,
not.
whoa.
this, can I just go one more thing?
Real quick, Jack, yeah.
Petitions all the time, I've done warrant article petitions or, and you ask somebody to sign it, you're a registered voter, yes. You show up at town hall and half of them aren't registered. It happens all the time. Their signatures don't count. So if you don't have the 50 that's required by registered voters, then the petition is no good.
Or
So,
a warrant.
or warrant.
You're gonna be the one checking this, right?
Yeah, but they don't know, they don't,
Then let them do it wrong.
Louise, it's on them to educate themselves as to whether they're entering into a petition properly and with results that meet their goal. That's on the individuals who are signing the petition to know that.
Whoop. Back to business. Thank you. Yes. All righty, Chad's up next. Paving bids.
Paving bids. Check it. Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
I think loud enough, I think, again, but we'll make sure. So you guys all got a spreadsheet. Basically shows everybody's paving bid, start to finish. We kind of use a different format this year, so if you looked at the bids, they're a little bit different. John brought it to us. And I think it really made a difference when it came to doing these. So that being said, looking down through them, they're all basically apples to apples, with the exception of GMI. When we put out the numbers, we put out for shim and overlay on townhouse. They broke out the shim from the top. So if you see GMI has number 2 and number 6. All the other companies added those 2 numbers together to give us one number. So if you look at it, you add those 2 numbers together, tonnage wise, they're in line as well. So that being said, we have, and the numbers that I really look for when we do this whole thing is tonnage numbers. Because that's the majority of our costs in paving. So if you look, GMI is 91.50 a ton across the board for everything. United Construction was $95 a ton for top and shim, and they were $105 a ton for base. Advanced Excavating was $98.34 a ton for top and $113.52 a ton for base. And pipe was $125 a ton across the board for both top and base. And basically, I think if you look, GMI is in all 5 categories are cheaper.
What about the quality of their work?
They've done a ton of paving for us in town.
No issues?
And we haven't had any issues. So I know that it was a couple years ago, a couple other towns had problems with them. But like I said, that's all only hearsay really. We've never had any issue with them. They call and schedule, they're on time. And again, I think actually we look at it, that, it was between them and Advance last year, and I mean, at that point I said, either one we wouldn't go bad with either one. So, it should. And I think Advance was slightly higher last year, and we went with Advance anyways, but this one, I think we're gonna find that the difference is, it's a little bit more substantial.
Yeah.
So it would probably cost us a raise.
A question on the bid to the far right. Don't they have their own asphalt plant?
Yes, and they bid every year, they're higher every year, and I don't understand that as well, and GMI owns their own plant as well. So, it's one of those things. It's kind of like that, I question it every year, and we had that discussion today, I don't get it. I don't know
they're required to put out a number of bids, and,
Maybe,
you know, and
if you really want it.
I think those guys truly, I mean, they want the bigger projects, and we're not big enough for them.
Yeah.
You know, they wanna come here and do 40 miles of paving, not 4,000 feet of paving.
Yeah.
So,
Just a clerical question. I see that they're numbered here. Is this supposed to be still a closed bid at this point, or are we supposed to know who we're talking about?
no, we're supposed to know, we're discussing bids to, so you guys can pick our
Right,
person.
yeah, okay. I didn't know if we were able to talk the company names.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we definitely need those, or you're gonna have a hard time picking. Number one.
No, you
Yeah.
don't need the company names, actually,
Yeah.
if their information is all here, you
Yeah.
know, I mean, it's helpful to you to know in the end who you're gonna be
Absolutely.
working with, but.
Sure.
yeah.
Sure, and I think in the past, boards, because of the company,
Mhm.
you know, has
Well, and that does
Has gone
play
different
into it,
directions,
having
yeah.
previous relationships and so forth.
Mhm.
Yeah, as long as we're following the correct protocol as far as, you know, being able to publicly announce.
Yeah, this is going on the website tomorrow. And everybody's gonna wanna know. Inquiring minds.
Do you want to list the vendor and their final bid before, for the minutes?
Sure. So GMI came in at a total of 215,857.60. United Construction came in at 264,160. Advanced Paving came in at 264,870. And Pike came in at 325,822.
Hey, Chad.
Yeah.
I've heard of everybody except for United Construction. Where are they?
They're out of actually Newport.
Oh,
And I was surprised when they showed up, they came down, they asked me questions and I was surprised that they but they looked at the paving and it's a lot of top
yeah.
this year. We're really top heavy, so they were excited about the type of work we were doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we got their bid.
Got it. Yeah, thank you.
So, yeah,
Just like,
Yeah.
like when in the years that I've been here, I've never seen United Construction on any of here.
nope.
All right.
Other than the other three, it's the first time in years that I've ever seen. I mean, I think I can think of one other in the last 15 years that showed up and actually bid up.
Kind of exciting though, in a way, you know, to know.
Yeah, and it was competitive. I mean, it was
Yeah.
competitive.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Let the record show Judy Silva joined our meeting at 6:38 PM. Any questions, motions?
We're motioning tonight? Making a decision tonight? Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Well, I think GMI seems like the way to go.
I think, yeah. I mean, I think like you said, it's big enough difference to make. I mean, it's a big enough amount to make a difference in the location of them as opposed to advanced. It's substantial enough. Years past, it hasn't been quite that big, the gap, huh?
No, it was, I mean, it was
Thousands, not
like
50 or 60.
1,500 last
Yeah.
year or something like that.
Yeah. One. Okay.
I move that the board accept GMI's proposal to do our 2025 paving for the amount of $215,857.60.
That particular road, I'm sorry. Is that multiple roads? I thought. It's for
Yes.
all of them,
So yes, so it's River Road.
Yeah.
Paving.
God, put me on the spot.
Sorry.
You
think there were three?
Townhouse should have overlay.
Okay.
Reserve top.
Yeah.
The ridge, top of the ridges.
Yeah.
Both sides.
Yeah.
I thought there was 5.
Elm Street?
No. Good try.
Okay.
Good try.
I don't remember. I don't remember the last
No,
one.
it's fine, thank you.
Yeah.
I know you told us before, I was curious.
Yeah, my years blend together.
I'm just
Yeah.
Need a second?
Second,
All in favor?
Maureen, I.
Trisha,
Kathleen, I.
Jim, I.
Scott.
Yeah.
You got it. Do we wanna do the other one now? The bollard? Sure. Oh, while I'm here. Bollard. You guys all got that stuff as well?
Yep.
So we got 3 bids, basically the 3 people we could find online that kind of did this stuff. Let's see, the most expensive of the 3 are the actual ones that from Maxi Force, are the ones that are using Hookset. So that being said, there was the cheapest one, the only reason I didn't care for those so much is because of the height. They were only 36 inches tall, and they had a funky spring in the middle, which was kind of just odd. It was almost like they were meant to be bumped.
Oh.
And it kind of.
that defeats the purpose.
Yeah, yeah, so those kind of went out the window. The 2 that I really were down to was the Maxi Force and the traffic guard. The traffic guard are, basically the difference is one's square and one's rectangle and one's round. They both fold, they both lock, they both are, about the same height. They're both made out of, a heavy gauge steel. They're both powder coated yellow. So they're pretty much just 2 different shapes. So that being said, I mean, that's kind of why I put everything together with the traffic guard ones, because it was the cheaper of those 2. So that, but if you guys have your heart set on the same ones with Hookset, we can go that route as well.
Can you speak a little bit about, the cost comparison, this is, one-time fee to install them as compared to potential costs that you would have for constantly.
So,
doing that?
and that's kind of why I went this way as opposed to the cheapest one. I think the cheapest one will be a constant battle with them. Just looking the way they were constructed and that spring in the middle, just, it seems like it was at the right height where a truck could just kind of push it over and continue driving. I don't understand the spring, they kind of defeated the purpose. So between those 2, I mean, like I said, they're constructed very similarly, between the other 2. It's just, one is a rectangle this big and the other one's a round pipe.
Sure. My question is more, would you foresee the maintenance costs if you didn't have one of these on there and,
If these weren't down the trail,
Yeah.
I mean, we chased 4 cars last week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's constant, they're coming down the trail, they're going up Mackey's field, Mackey's even closed its gate, so they can't get up there, they cut across the sheep farmer's field into Hooksett, and they scoot out his driveway. So I don't know why there's 4-wheeler tracks down there now, there's all kinds of stuff down there.
People were fun.
The good thing about the 4-wheelers and stuff like that is is we talked to Fish and Game about getting signs, to put up no wheeled vehicles, no motorized vehicles, stuff like that. And they said, "You're having a problem?" And we said, "Yeah." They said, "We'll take care of it." So they like to sit in the woods and wait for somebody, where we were asking our local PD to do it, but they have other things to do than chase some kid on a 4-wheeler, So I have high hopes for Fish and Game, because this is more their gig, and they were very much interested in helping us, so that's a good thing. But it's just the constant, I mean, we picked up stuff dumped down there 3 times now. People are driving down there, driving into the woods. I think Catherine saw some of it all over our walks. Yeah. It's just, I mean, it seems like construction demo and stuff like that, and the last time I blocked off the hole where they were driving down in and dumping, and last time they just kind of drove down and just threw it out. So we had to walk the trail. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if they really need to get rid of it, dump it at the highway. but in the front,
Yeah, right.
it's just like, I think in the last 3 months, we picked up 21 mattresses now off of her. Yeah,
That's
it's usually two every third day down by the cemetery in the boys' home.
Wow.
So it's usually twice a week we pick up two,
That one's
you know? So I think if we don't do something down here,
Mattress shops.
They're treating in and then they're come down.
doing that fundraising, people
That's funny.
so to your point, Rich, I think if we don't do anything down there, we're gonna have constant battle. And I think sooner or later, it's gonna spill into Hooksett,
Yeah,
you know, because I think it's gonna spill across.
yeah,
Yeah. And what fears me is what they drive and in their ability. I don't know how Hooksett bridges are built. I know ours will take the vehicle traffic, but I don't know. I mean, some of Hooksett bridges are true walking bridges.
Mhm.
And if people say, you know, they might actually do serious damage,
Yeah,
you know.
and if they're this careless, they will become even more careless.
Sure, sure. The longer they get away with it, the more they're gonna do.
Mhm.
Yeah. So between that and the boat launch, I think we gotta shore things up a little bit. So,
Any reviews on either of these and?
I mean, everything, the reviews on, as far as online go is, I mean, they are what they are. They both seem to be good. The only true working review we have is from Hooksett and the Mac Force. You know, that's kind of. So it's gonna be one of those things. That's why I bring the decision to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about that before the meeting started, Cheryl and I were down there and that front walk down there. Someone has backed into one of the cross members on the fence and split it in two.
Okay.
You can see the tracks there. I didn't go past the Hooksett line,
Mm-hmm.
but I know there was a number of dog turds, even in the middle of the trail, going down there.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Hold on, hold on. Real quick.
It's blue paint on that, where the fence is broken.
Is it? Okay.
It's some blue paint.
Okay.
Let's find him, Chad.
How long does it take to acquire that property and how much time your guys put in there?
Sure.
And
And I mean, I'm sure that somebody bumped it and probably didn't do it on purpose. I guess we can ask Doc to pull all the blue cards.
Keep you busy for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you need a motion?
I do, I need a motion and then I have a PO for you to sign,
Okay.
so we can get,
I would say go with the lesser expensive of the two.
Yeah, the traffic.
I,
Me
you
too.
know, I'll spend more money if I don't
They're
see any
being-
reason.
Same.
Yeah,
same thing, different shape.
I don't think the shape matters too much. Mm-mm.
So,
Okay.
it's funny, I thought you would say that, that's what the PO is.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it, okay.
all right, I move that the board accepts the proposal from Traffic Guard for 8 bollards posts to help protect our rail trail.
Right.
The total, $5,996. Oh, that will be coming out of the Parks and Rec capital reserve.
Second,
All in favor?
Maureen,
Tricia.
Kathleen, I.
Jim, I.
So I put down for 8, I think I can get away with 7, so we'll do a little bit more planning, but I think I can move them down a little bit, and get away with 7. So we might come in under.
Before you go, on the same topic, because we were talking about the rail trail before and Scott brought up the dog feces that are there. Maybe you could research, having dog bag post available there or sign and or signage?
They have bags out, I think.
No, I
No.
haven't seen dog bags out, but they do have signs posted that say
Hmm.
pick up, which I've
Yeah.
asked Chad to do personally.
I can do the sign, I think we actually have one, so I can put that up. The only thing that I think about the bags are
They're gonna end up all over the place.
where they're gonna end up.
Yeah.
And, or do I have
And
to,
people just take them all for themselves too, but
Right.
and just grab handfuls.
you know,
Say in my experience as a dog walker, I haven't seen that happen very often, but I agree, you know,
Yeah.
but is it, you want poop all over the place or bags?
well, if you go through, they say biodegradable on them now.
Yeah, they
So
are.
if you go in, if, I was walking down through Hooksett side with Mark the other day, and
They throw them in the woods.
they're hanging from the trees.
And it looks like I have walked out through the prickle bushes to get them off the tree,
Yeah.
and they were bugging the crap out of me, ruining my morning view.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll definitely find it.
Thanks.
You got it.
You wanna take my first, let me a little longer?
Oh, okay. Hey, Chief Stark?
Hi there.
Welcome.
So
We don't
just before we keep going on the OHRV thing, I'm going to email Chad so he can tell me kind of what he's been dealing with for complaints and how many and when, because this is right for the grant process that Fish and Game has, where they'll pay the officers a set rate to head on out there and fight off this stuff. We just put the upper doors on our smaller ATV. So now, even though when it's freezing cold out, we can get out there and start hitting those trails. So that's our plan, is to be down there a little more often. About 2/3 of the shifts, we've got enough people on to do that. So I'm kind of excited to get down there myself. So
Nice.
Excellent.
We'll get them.
even if they don't stop, at least they get the idea that we're going to be down there, which is what has bit us in the foot in Bear Brook State Park, because we're up there so much. We, knock on wood, don't have the complaints. So Fish and Game, rightfully so, puts the money elsewhere. There's not a huge OHRV problem in Bear Brook State Park, because we're in there enough that if someone's on an OHRV without snow, it's probably ignorance. They didn't know they couldn't be there, and we talk to them and they drive it home, and that's the end of the conversation. Whereas with the rail trail, if we can get out there, I think people will start getting the idea that this is not where you can do those things.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Steve. You had something else to tell us.
I did. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. That was my plan, but my daughter has the flu, which, as you guys know, is going around, which means I had to come put the horses in, and then it took a little too long because they don't do what I tell them to do. And I didn't think I'd make it to the meeting in time from here, so I figured I'd do this. I hope that's okay. You should have seen the memo, which kind of outlines the timeline. I'm looking to put my paperwork in to retire and be retired on June 1st, which means my last day would be May 31st. But what I'd really love to do is something that government never does, which is do something with common sense. And what I'd like to do is post and try to fill the position before I walk out the door. It's one of the worst things is when you basically high five someone as they come in the door and go, good luck, by having someone selected by the board as their next candidate. We don't need an acting or anything like that, but we can adjust a schedule. We can have them come in and then actually get to see how the job is done. And that way they approach it with that much more confidence.
I like that recommendation.
Yes.
I personally feel like Lieutenant Tower has worked her way up and is doing a fantastic job. I don't know, do we have to advertise this position, or could we have a discussion with Lieutenant Tower? Would it be possible that we could automatically, I don't feel like there's any outside candidate that is
Right.
gonna know that department the way that she does. She already knows all the officers.
Right. And basically what you want to do is you want to make sure that the person coming into the new position or into the position newly has legitimacy, but is also, we don't, to put it non-politely, we don't yank a bunch of people around. So what I'd recommend, and I think we did it with my process, and I was clearly the candidate that should have been hired, so it really wasn't too different than what we have here. But is
No.
It's leaving us so soon.
is an advertisement, fairly quick turnaround. We don't need to do some nationwide search. We don't need a big assessment center. But basically, I look at it this way. If someone could come from the outside and impress the board so much that you want them to be the police chief, Lieutenant Tower shouldn't have the job. If she can't impress you, and you guys know her, so obviously you know what I'm talking about. But if her presentation and with other people getting to know what she has to say, because I whether you have civilians on the board or other members, whatever, but a board just to interview, no different than if we have a certified officer that I have known previously because it's a town near us. We still have them go through the oral board, so no one says, yeah, they just kind of blessed him and called it a day. There's two bad ways of doing it. One is you have a candidate you're gonna promote, not that you're gonna know, that you have a favorite candidate, and then you make a big nationwide selection process and you put all these people through a bunch of hoops, and they didn't have a chance in hell of being able to get that job. You already knew who. That's not fair. The other way to screw it up is to have no process and just, here you go, you're all set. That being said, I wholeheartedly and completely support Lieutenant Tower as the candidate, but I think with a quick posting, and by quick I mean timeline, like not for out for a month. It's like you put it on the website and it closes in a week. Like you're just not looking to drag the bottom of the ocean here to try to get people. And people interview, and however you want to interview. I in the memo outlined that you could interview them right at the end of a meeting. Basically, go into non-public, have your interviews, one at X time, and then call it half hour, 45 minutes later, and then you can, if you're like, ooh, I want to talk to these candidates again, you can. We have time, which is why I want to have this conversation now. So I don't think we need a motion or anything like that. If everyone's kind of okay with it, John and I will put our heads together and be able to present to you kind of how the process goes. I couldn't find the ad because the police department didn't put out the ad when I was hired. So we're trying to find the ad. It's not hard to write an ad. That's not the hard part. But basically, with everyone's okay, John and I will put our heads together, put out an ad to NHMA and probably not Indeed. I wouldn't really recommend Indeed because we're going to get people from Colorado, Wyoming, and they're going to mean well, but it's not what we're trying to do. But NHMA, Primex, that kind of stuff, just so that you put a little legitimacy on the process. And then I'll work on coming up with the process itself, kind of the questions, and you guys will have the questions ahead of time, not ahead of time of the day, but like weeks ahead of time, so you can edit and add and ask questions, and that we just keep it like a regular oral board. And as soon as you make the decision from there, the person is kind of blessed. We'll just go with the understanding, let's say Lieutenant Tower is the blessed candidate, then can you tell I was raised Catholic? All right, this person's blessed, and then they're made. So if she does miracles, I'm not calling her a saint. I don't care. So once she's the chosen one, we'll go with that. Once she's the chosen one, we'll go with Jedi lore here. Okay, so once she's chosen, what I would do internally is just adjust her schedule. So at starting with a half and then scooting up to more, where she's working right next to me. She goes to the SOU meetings, she goes to the Chiefs meetings. I get to introduce her. That way, the day she takes the keys, so to speak, she already knows everybody. She knows, because there's definitely things that I have explained, but like really never walked her through. We're done with the budget process, but she's seen it come up through. But the kind of stuff where, for instance, like I'm looking into the fish and game grant right now. I've walked her through those before, but it's the kind of thing where if she's the chosen one, I would just simply turn my computer and it'd be like, all right, let's go. Kind of just like we'd FTO a police officer, basically.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan of action to me. I agree with not, I just would feel awful to waste a lot of people's time too. People getting excited, seeing that job posting when, this may be bad, but I am definitely biased towards Lieutenant Governor.
Yeah, it has been, it wasn't like this until recently, but I have seen ads that outright say it.
We have a
Internal
candidate.
candidates are interested,
Yeah.
but you're welcome to apply. You're not, you're only going to have problems, not problems, from far away. Call it Merrimack County or counties around here. These people will call, they'll call me, and I'll say yes. The lieutenant's putting in it, and they'll say, hey, thanks for letting me know. I'll appreciate it. Whereas other places, you would call, or we would just know because of scuttlebutt or whatever. Oh no, the lieutenant's not putting in, and it's okay. I'll give it a shot, and someone local might apply. That's what happened over in Bow. The lieutenants were not interested, so Chief Miller came from Fortin or somewhere up north. But had he been told that the lieutenants were interested, he wouldn't have touched it with a 10-foot pole. Just for the time wasting, you know.
Yeah. I do want to add that the Department of Labor does have regulations around this that usually defer to the hiring organization's human resources policy on hiring. So we want to make sure we're looking at that and following any protocols we might have set.
Yep, there's 2 or 3 paragraphs on that in the personnel policy. It says, actually the bureaucratic version of what Kathleen basically said.
Yeah.
We want to foster an atmosphere of career advancement. I'm about to say this, but I think I actually wrote most of it. Blah 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 blah, and then basically saying just that we want to encourage internal candidates, and like I said, we'll put that right in the ad so internal candidates are available. And if she's the only one, who, fine, you at least put it out, you created legitimacy to it. And this is the same all the way through. Like I said, you got a certified officer, you have them do the oral boards. You've got one person that is qualified to be the next sergeant. You don't throw stripes at them and set them to Claudette to have them sewn on the shirt. You get them to go through the process so that they can hold their head high and they know that they've been picked correctly. So we'll make sure that you have a vetted process and that you have the right candidate right in front of you.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
On your retirement.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Hopefully it'll be a little warmer come June and I can mow a lawn or something. So
yeah. It'll give you time to get the hang of those horses too.
Exactly. Oh, it's just I've my whole life, the animals I've dealt with are dogs, whether it be the Accelerant or Kaylee. And a dog is a predator animal. It is a different mentality. So if I get mad at it, it goes one way. These animals, these horses, they could kill me, but their brain still thinks I'm going to kill them, and they're these prey animals. And I'm like, I've literally itched my head, and they've jumped to the other side of the stall. And I'm like, you just no, you do. I married a horse girl. I do not like horses.
I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. They do now. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. John, I'll get in touch with you tomorrow so we can firm up all the wording and we'll be in business.
Sounds good.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
You too.
I think I'd like to start with. I'm gonna give you higher price proposal.
You hired
You can start with the. So Chief Ranger, I have 2 individuals that I've set forward, through John that have been vetted, for the per diem side of the fire department. This is gonna be funny to say, but I've had no internal candidates from the state of New Hampshire, I've had them all come from out of state. So there's 2 right now, one of them is Tyler Thornton, who's coming out of Maryland. He's moving here next week. And he is graduating his paramedic program in April. here in New Hampshire. So I'd be a licensed paramedic, looking to go to fire school. And he has heard about Allenstown and the programs that we do and the fireman program, with the in-house training. So he sees fit to come here because he thinks it's a good fit for him. So we've talked to him at length, and actually he'll be here on the third to come through and do his first go around, looking around, so. He's the first candidate to come through. The other one is Luke Jackson, just retired out of the military, passed the EMT basic, wants to go to fire school, just moved to the north side of Manchester from Clinton, Massachusetts. Because the weird thing in Massachusetts is you can't take any fire classes until you're affiliated with the fire department. And a lot of what's happening down in Massachusetts is people they aren't accepting people, so you can't get your classes done. So he moved to New Hampshire to be closer to family, and he wants to join us because of the same purposes. He's read about our programs in-house and wants to join us. So I'd like to move them forward. They've had their backgrounds done, the physical done, and they're at the next step. So
Questions?
None for me.
All right. I move the fire chief be allowed to hire Tyler Thornton as a per diem paramedic, on call per diem. The rate of $22.19 an hour. Also be allowed to hire Luke Jackson as a per diem EMT basic. Firefighter as well, correct?
yeah, two.
On call or per diem, get $19.03 an hour, effective date today.
Second.
All in favor?
Maureen,
Tricia.
Kathleen, I.
Jim, I.
Scott.
Thank you. The other item I brought forward, and I talked to John about it, and it's more of a kind of putting it out there for some direction. As you know, we have firemen in-house. He's expressed, like I said multiple times, the interest with AES as soon as we decide the plan of where we're going with it. To utilize some classrooms. His program, I actually just took my refresher class up in Henniker this weekend, and the word has traveled, and he has an instructor was teaching us that's coming over to his program because it's so it's growing really quick. So he's looking for space. So if you don't know, he is in Allenstown, but he's also in Peterborough, Berlin, Portsmouth, Hampton. So he teaches substantially what it is the state looking for EMS academies to be able to teach. And they can't put him at the fire academy because there's no way. So he's localized, and we were lucky enough to have him come in-house with us, but he needs more space. We have a class that starts on February 11th, that's 20 students, and actually 21 students, and then the EMT class that's on Saturday, which is 20 students. And that's the max that you can fit in the room to be comfortable. What he's looking to do is, I did send John a proposal, which I'm not sure if you guys saw or not, yes. So he's looking to move this stuff forward, which benefits us, and looking for space. So he approached me after we had an original inception of the school being purchased from, for the town hall, and other aspects about getting some space. So after, our last meeting at the fire department, I asked her to put together some type of proposal, just saying what he's looking to do, so you guys can actually understand the interest. And I know we're kind of delayed here with the school purchase and everything else, but, so he's looking for 3 classrooms. He's looking to become one of the state's lead paramedic programs, along with NHTI and New Hampshire EMS Institute. So he is on the verge. He's doing a pilot program to be certified nationally to be able to teach paramedic programs. So he needs a designated lab. That's the big thing. He has to have a sim lab for them to be at, and the fire station cannot, because people can't access that lab. It has to stay static. So the testing is accurate. So in that proposal, he's looking for 3 classrooms, which would be one for teaching EMS classes, where you can have more than 20 people, and 1 for fire classes, because he teaches now. I'm actually meeting with him at the state of New Hampshire in 2 weeks.
So these 3 classes would be dedicated to his use solely?
Yes.
So they would not, because of, he needs to protect the
Classrooms are-
integrity of the classroom.
Yeah.
It's not like he would rent it Monday night and we could rent it to someone else Tuesday night. They would be solely dedicated to him.
Yeah, and I think the classrooms might be up for discussion, but the lab itself is a very hard and fast thing for paramedics, so. Because they go through a national process to be certified, so we all do, but theirs is a little bit more stringent than the lower ones.
Makes sense.
So with that being said, I will tell you that I talked to, if you look in there, he wants to run, seven in that proposal, again, set listed six, but what the projected numbers of the advanced classes, he wants to run 7 classes a year, which is 3 EMT classes, 4 EMT classes, 3 EMT classes and 4 AEMT classes. And then paramedic program would be one in the, so, on top of that, he wants to run the fire one classes, which is the state, which is they're leaving the director of the academy in March, so searching for a new one. And the state is a little bit disorganized right now, so we're looking to kind of see that moment and become an academy, so we can help them out, help us out. So he wants to teach 3 fire one classes and 6 fire two classes, and he has 25 people right now with a waiting list of 10 people, just the one he wants to put in March. And he does pay per class, what he does, he pays the department, per class, for each class. And he also pays, for gear rental, if he has somebody who's not affiliated with the state, to be able to use fire gear and stuff like that, they get the certifications done. And how that benefits us is it goes back into fund to offset paying for that training and the equipment and the gear, so that way we kind of have a revolving process to maintain our own stuff and over the benefit of getting,
So you're getting somebody trained, but it's not costing you all the
And-
way.
yeah, and if he has more than 10 students, then we have, and this is the benefit for the town, is every time we put somebody through fire one, it's been our department, we don't pay.
Oh.
So if he has a program with all the departments, people, the town gets a free spot, and for the EMT classes, it's almost $1,800, and for fire classes, it could be up to $7,000. So the town is actually, along with the financial side of it, is actually gaining the experience, it's gaining the people.
So he'd be paying rent, giving you 3 classes,
Mhm.
paying to rent the gear.
Correct, and approximately, so, and this is the part of the big training grounds, which we're still waiting on the grant, which I'm hoping to hear soon, because we're supposed to do that in January. Is the investing in the training grounds, even if we invest some of our money in the start, and the grant comes through, and we have it bigger than what we anticipated. The amount of revenue that's coming in is projected for the first year will way out surpass building the facility. So, and I should have those numbers probably at the next meeting, if not soon, and I can add to the proposal to send to you guys. So what I'm looking for is, I know that the building is not, and I know that the school has a lease with the SAU. So if the town's intent is to buy it and to move forward, I would like to entertain the thought of working with Eric to sit down with the school board and have discussions about maybe entertaining a lease with you guys and with them, to get in there sooner than later. Because he is busting at the seams with the need for room. So I'm just looking for you guys' direction to let me know what would be appropriate.
Where we don't own it yet, I don't think we really have any say until.
Well, I
think, did the school give any feedback on our purchase and sale prior to the issues with the lawyers? Does it seem like they're still ready to move forward?
Yes.
Did they mention any concerns?
No.
or-
Looking to probably get on their agenda, I guess, and I just want you guys, like I told you guys when I got hired, I don't want to blindside you and I don't want to be blindsided, so I'd like to let you guys know before I have any discussions or planning discussions, so.
Well, where the school owns it right now, personally, I don't see it being an issue if we took over the building and these people are already in there as a renter, their lease would be with the school as well. And I think when we buy the building, our plan, and I don't, if I'm speaking out of turn, but I think our plan was to spend, 6 months to a year, however long, researching, turning it into a town hall. So to me, we would probably be okay to continue a lease like that while we do our research. And if it's determined that we're not gonna turn it into a town hall, we would let our renters know so that they could find someplace else. Or hopefully, everything works out and we do turn it into a town hall and we can just keep extending the lease, so. To me, I don't have an issue if you wanna send them to begin the process with the school board. And then I would be fine if they did work something out with the school board, I would be okay with our board.
I just wonder how it would affect our current purchase and sales agreement, because there is specific language about the current tenant in there in our option to.
And I think one thing we could cover, there's already a lease written like that, if we mirror that, it's kind of the same thing. Is if we have that notice to quit, then it could be documented in that lease. So,
When does his March class start?
His effective February 11th starts the AMT class, the basic class, and I think March 9th, I think is when his class is started. And I've already forewarned him that it might not be this round of classes, but he's doing 12 weeks as the EMT and the fire class is 2 weeks. So he's putting through 24 people, he has, in every 2 weeks, and the fire class is 6 people. So essentially, like every 3 months, you're looking at a changeover of students there to go in.
He's gonna do paramedic classes.
He is one of the first academies in the state. And like I said, the demand for the shortage of paramedics, and this is a long discussion we had at our work session. There's a large shortage of paramedics in the state of New Hampshire and in the Inland area in general. So a lot of models are changing to my concept, which I talked about, which is like the paramedic flag. And if you guys don't know, you guys read the story about exit of ALS. So exit ALS was an ALS and on the seacoast where most of the fire departments hired AEMTs and whatnot, but they put exit ALS on the hospital, put 2 medics in cars. So they respond regionally as a medic if they're needed, right? And the cost was lower. Some of the towns negotiate a flat rate fee that they pay into the exit ALS to provide their paramedical coverage. So Cheshire Medical up in Keene started up the last year. Essentially, they are doing their own ambulance service, but they also provide paramedics to do the same thing. Capital area, for some reason, is on its own island. We still charge it. If I go to Pembroke today and provide a paramedic, I can charge the town of Pembroke $539. If they come to me, they charge me $539. So it's this big circle of charges, and it's a pain in the ass, use my French, to track. As we grow with the paramedic things, if we have medics in town, we can start to be that regional aspect of it, and the revenue that comes in for it, if we build a good paramedic program we're teaching, then we have paramedics that we probably could utilize for that process. So Plastown, New Hampshire is actually taking over Exit ALS because Exeter, was it Leahy that came in and bought them? And they said, we're not doing it anymore. We don't want you to do it ALS anymore. So we have until March 12th. And then Plastown Fire actually hired 6 paramedics. And they have them on a rotating schedule with 2 cars. And they're solely going to take care of the regional paramedic response. And the towns like the capital area dispatch stuff, pay a certain amount and they get medics. So I'm looking in the future, not specifically to do that in our hometown, as we have 4 medics on duty. I would like to start looking at the avenues of putting somebody on a per diem or like an on-call stipend program where they can take care of us. Because $539 in per diem expenses spread out is a whole heck of a lot cheaper than, I think I spent $4,000 last year in paramedic service in 4 months. So as we grow this program, as he gets paramedics taught, then we can have people that might be medics, it might benefit us along. So, but I will do that. I'll reach out to Eric and I'll probably, just so you guys know, see if I can get this.
Okay.
So I appreciate that.
Hey, Chief?
Yeah.
I think we got a few more things here.
Oh,
No? I wanted to ask you a favor.
Yeah.
Regarding the grant and the washer. Fire. Only because we've got people here haven't heard this.
Yeah.
I've got a purchase order in front of me, $23,270. I've also got one, no, I'm just gonna stick on this right now, but there has been a grant awarded.
Yeah.
But we get reimbursed, we purchase this.
Yeah.
And reimbursed.
Yeah, we were reimbursed. Yeah, that was the gear washer and dryer. I think in October, we sent the information through, but we were in a transition process. And building the structure of communications. So usually I used to send it to Derek and Sherry and I had sent it. And I think that what ended up happening is I think we're in the budget season. So the funds have come through to the town. And basically what we did not do was move the money. It was brought to the meeting, but I think that we just, in my fault probably, is just making sure that everything moved along. So the money from capital reserve did not get moved. So what the purchase order for is, we have to pay the invoice for the gear washer and extractor, and then the money has to get moved from, which you already have a letter for, I think in October. Just from that, the capital fire went into the general fund to give our 5% difference. So that's what that's.
Excellent, thanks, Chief.
You're welcome. Is that it?
Yep.
Thank you.
I don't know, it's like-
So. Fresh in our minds, this is a purchase order, needs our signature for $23,270. This is the gear wash and dryer purchase for the firehouse, so they can wash their fire here. Again, we do have a grant, so and we actually, Hayden said we have the money, so we just need to sign this to make this official, so. I move that the board sign this purchase order, $23,270 for this gear washer and dryer purchase for our fire.
Does it say what the grant was that was funding it?
Maybe the name of the grant?
Sorry, the assistant to fire president, FG. Because every year, we didn't apply this year because I don't give a break for a while, but, because we have a larger area, so, we will call. Not yet.
But that funding did come in previously.
The year was-
Maybe, I
Yes.
think it's into the motion, that funding that we received would be used for that.
All right.
That.
So moved.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second. 49.
Tricia,
Kathleen, I.
Jim, I.
The next one here is to reimburse the town. There was a matching portion of this grant as well. You,
Is that for the transfer?
2000, yeah, which taken it from the capital reserve fund.
I think we already did that in October, because I submitted that letter. Did you actually bring that letter here in October?
So I've got this in front of me, $2,078.10.
Yeah. I'm not sure we actually read it. I think when the grant came in, we did that.
This is just the actual letter. The board's already approved it back in September.
And we have, I'm going to thank Diane for this. We had a number of people serving on boards here, but it never officially taken the oath of office. And Diane has gone through, this is a lot of, there was a lot of work to do that. And fill those roles, so I have 4 open offices here that need our signature. One is mine for the EDC, one is Rich Caruso for the EDC. And there's one for Mike. How long have you been the chair? Mike for the EDC and one for Ron Adolph for the EDC.
I have a question. Are you an ex officio as for that committee, so that you wouldn't be sworn in?
Originally, no, someone asked if I wanted to be on the EDC. Actually, I think I was talking with Kathleen because I wanted to do something. And she said there was an opening on the EDC, so I just started showing up. And there was nothing. in there.
What my question is, are you the ex officio
I am.
for the board?
Yes, originally, it was just.
And I think you don't need to do that. Am I right about that?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel like I always did them, but I may have done them unnecessarily. It doesn't mean I was supposed to.
I mean, it can't hurt to do it.
Last,
Yeah. Right. That's what I understood, right?
Yeah, they were expired.
Yeah. And they've never.
When I went to like all the boards and committees.
Yeah.
I prioritized the ones listed on the MS 123.
Yeah.
Because the state was waiting for that information. So I prioritized those, and then EDC is not listed there, so I don't think that's a required board.
It's
But the
not.
town has to have, it's
That's
optional.
voluntary.
So I didn't prioritize that.
Yeah.
You're getting those now.
They went on the back burner.
Can't put everything on the front burner.
Oh, you
Just
can't.
one on.
Are you feeling slighted, Ron? And Mike?
If you ask them, they're the ones.
I was gonna say, Mike, I remember, yeah, Mike was one of the first people I ever met when I came to selection.
And they do a lot of important work.
Yeah. So they're looking at seconds. Saturday, so. You want to publish the list of who's. Okay, so it's oh, if they're doing seconds, so. Yeah. So we don't want to talk. Okay. Okay.
While we're signing, there's a few other things here. One is, to collect, some taxes on, for logging on tax map 407 lot 28 in the amount of $1,306.20. Is there anything else I need to include on that, John? No.
Yeah.
Motion and second.
So moving, you just said everything. Yeah,
So moved.
so moved.
Now we need a second.
Second,
All in favor?
Maureen,
Tricia.
Kathleen, I.
Jim, I.
you don't care what order. It's in. 27?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Oh, you wrote it 500 times.
Two places.
Two places.
Two spots.
No one signed the manifest today. Is everyone signed the payroll manifest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay,
So do you want to sign your name?
yeah. Check manifest as well. Batch ID 72 and 73.
I don't know if I saw those. I think I saw 71. I don't think they were in my, I wonder if they're going to a different. To my other
Batch ID 72 in the amount of $1,045,156.46. It's got our school district.
Yeah, I assume
Oh.
that, what it would.
Was that out a couple weeks ago?
No, those are, those should be in your BOS folder for 2025. Under
Yeah, I
one
never-
27,
No.
that one folder that you look at.
I usually just see it in the email.
Yeah, but they're also not in
You want me
that.
Because they weren't in Dropbox for us to sign, right?
Yes,
Okay.
they're all so sent out.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't
I didn't, we didn't get,
No, I did not.
there's nothing in here at all.
Okay, I'll check on that.
Okay.
Oh, we're signing the old fashioned way tonight.
That's why I'm bringing the hard copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 71 is the only one I have to count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
that's
approve and sign, a check manifest batch ID 72 in the amount of $1,045,156.46.
Yes.
I'll second.
Maureen,
Kathleen, I.
Am I?
Scott, I think that's,
Comes
is that the
small.
last big one? Go one more. One more.
John, did they meet with Rita to work?
Not yet.
Okay. I hope that isn't something that falls through the cracks. Okay, we really need to do that.
Move the board approve and sign, check manifest batch ID number 73 in the amount of $41,493.25. So like to, you do it first.
please. Thank you. It's a lot of reading. Trish is really our manifest expert.
I know,
She spotted everything.
Years of training.
Yeah.
You mean your forward property? Yeah, usually at the time of sale, they'll, if they, technically, if they don't get it, that, go to the.
Yes.
We're almost done.
We didn't do any, no.
We're almost done.
They've been paying it.
We're almost done.
Years, so I'm sure this year. They should pay.
But I did have a question about new equipment. Chad, you've got a new truck on the horizon soon?
Whenever they finish it.
Yeah, this is a slow road to Truckville, huh?
Yeah. And we got in early, because we're in before the March rush. So usually everybody pushes after March, but.
Steve, just for the record,
Ambulance was supposed to be completed today. I'm probably get a phone call from agreement tomorrow. It should hopefully be in May. Once they get the main, they're gonna letter it, and we just have to go up there, they're gonna install the power load systems with new pot. And, we could bring some radios up and install, so I'm hoping by the middle of February, if not the end of February, that, the old one will be going away and the new one will be in service. So that's good in the ladder truck, you'll see it driving around because they're doing the training now, so hopefully we'll have that in service by the 15th of February, so we can, start funding it.
As far as, vehicle, Eric's gonna help you with the dump truck, get it on municipal, do we wanna do that with Brian's old car as well?
Oh.
is it stopped?
That would.
I've never seen it. Where is this thing what it is? Because these
It was
are
tired.
on here.
So,
They're a little one.
my fault.
So what do you want me to know?
Oh, I got there.
That's the total of the whole.
Yeah, but not if you read this. It's a long time to get to that number. Where is it?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
$39, and wow, 22 is the biggest one.
Yeah,
I thought it was just.
I thought maybe the school was doing that, right? Maybe it's not.
I don't understand. You look, if you could do something.
Yeah.
Oh, here. There's a school right here.
Oh, there it is. I thought it was the last one, because you only mentioned that one. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, gonna sort it down.
I know, I see that now. I thought it was the last one. So I'm like, where is it? It's actually the first one.
Do you want to come back to spot so we can vote on that one? I think we were reviewing that.
I signed it, but we didn't vote on this one yet, right? 72? Yeah, 73. We did 72, but we didn't do 73.
I made a motion, I don't think it went,
Oh, yeah, you did make a motion. I'll second.
all in favor.
Maureen, aye.
Trisha.
Kathleen, I.
Jim, I.
It's Scott.
You have to send it back, I think. I'm the other one who signed it. It was coming back for you to make a motion, but then we realized you already did. And stuff.
Sorry, we need to stay here, Tommy.
Yeah, now what am I gonna do? Hang on. Payroll manifest. Can you sign
Um,
that?
I signed it, but
The rest of us signed it online. I believe.
Yeah,
Did you sign yours electronically?
yes. Yeah, yeah.
I just had two questions.
123.
okay, I'm getting, I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. You have in your packet, a quote on upgraded audiovisual for the meeting room. With Eric, and he was able to, recommend this unit. But I wanted to get approval from the board to go ahead and purchase it and have it installed. This would replace the owl system, which is,
Oh, that was good.
not quite what we need, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
There's been many complaints that the audio was very interrupted and spotty, but you've used it before elsewhere.
Yeah, we had this system down south and Hudson, we used to use it for 3 different things, we would do training with it. And the rooms were, especially the room that I worked in was probably twice the size of it, and it did very well. As somebody who sits in the backside of that thing, I went here, and so, like, if Kathy's talking and John said one word, cuts her off, and you can hear. So, this system is designed to block out background noise, and it will give options of focusing on an individual, or it will stay pulled back, and the plan is to probably put it on the wall here, facing the board, and when the person sits there, they'll be able to hear them speak. It might not see their face, but it's you can watch the camera town meeting one, they can see the person going to speak, and you can actually see the response of the board, so. And it's actually relatively inexpensive compared to the system there.
Yeah, it's much cheaper than I would have anticipated, actually,
Yeah.
when I saw that total.
Yeah.
So if the board's in agreement, I'll move forward with that, and it's gonna help me install.
I'm good with it.
Yep.
Okay. And I want to take this opportunity to remind everyone that the deliberative session is this Saturday. It's at Allenstown Community School, starts at 9 AM.
Okay, I'll let the rest of the board know I do have an obligation to be at Hooksett for their deliberative session that morning because of my job over there. So as soon as I can leave from there, I'll come over to ours.
And one other reminder, voting is at Allenstown Elementary School, March 11th, Tuesday from 8 AM to 7 PM. That's all I have to do.
Wow, that's a nice town administrators report.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me about Saturday, because I could be over at AES all by myself. I forgot.
Yeah.
They decided to have it there. That's right.
I have a question. Does Allenstown have any interest in it that would be coming to us from the sale of the Ford properties? What's the result there? Like, because I know we were embroiled in you know, their
Just the
taxes
back
and
taxes.
the back taxes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it, okay.
Lots.
Any other business before the board is? Seeing none, I move that we adjourn our meeting at 7:40 PM.
Second,
All in favor?
Maureen, I.
Tricia, and I.
Kathleen, I.
Jim Ron, Jim Roger.
It's done.
It's been a day, Jim. It has been a day.
Thank you.
Like the evening. What do you think?